I watched his spirit leave his body. Like, I watched his eyes go gray. I watched that last breath. Like, I physically watched whatever was inside of him, spirit, whatever you believe in. I believe there's a spirit in us, and I watched that leave his soul, like his soul leave his body.
Did you engage anybody on that first op?
Not on the first one, no.
When did you, how many ops went through before you?
It's probably like our third or fourth op when we started engaging. And Sadr City after that was every night. Like, when we were in Sadr, dude, we were shooting in the turret. My buddy was lead turret gunner. I remember when I first engaged, he was lead turret gunner, and same dude, Zadok. We had just got the miniguns in the lead turret. Do you remember this?
We never had miniguns.
Okay. You ready for a funny, hilarious story? This made the national news. We have a tendency to get ourselves into trouble and do stupid things, so I'm going to try to not knock this. But he's the turret gunner, doesn't lock in the seat. There's a guy coming around the corner, and ISR lets him know, hey, he's coming around the corner. Zaid puts the gun on him, doesn't lock in the seat. Guy comes around the corner, and he hits the button. And this fucking turret went...
Oh, man.
It took down telephone, light posts, buildings, like everything started collapsing in front of us.
Oh, my gosh.
Everything started collapsing, dude. That was the first, I'll never forget. That was hilarious, dude. But that's Zaid. Zaid's he's a good man, and he does funny shit all the time. You just got to spend 5 minutes with him, and you're gonna laugh.
Nice.
Yeah.
So what was the op?
Most of what we did was we were going after high, like HVTs, so high value targets, and for that first deployment, it ranged from. Again, I mentioned like IED cell leaders, so like we were going after the big wigs that were like the bosses for these different cells.
Was it capture kill?
It was.
What were you guys doing? Capturing or killing?
It was both. It was both.
What was the determination?
Back then it was prior to Obama coming in office, so we had like, if there's a threat, if you feel there was a threat, then you can take it. And it involved, I don't know if you were deploying during that time, but then it was like, they got to point a weapon at you. You got to be fired at first. It got really squirrely. People were getting hurt because they're second guessing their training. But back then it was like, if you felt like you
needed to take a shot,
yeah.
You could do it.
Yeah. For example, the first dude, I was on the recce team, and we would use telephone tent poles and put them on these contraptions that opened up and they had teeth. So the buildings overseas were flat, as you know, but we would basically raise this device. It would capture, and we'd have a soft caving ladder, and we would climb to the roof and secure it that way, like secure the target building or climb the target building. And we started taking down the targets from the roof, but we would climb the target building, and the dude we were going after just so happened to come out the top. He was like, there's a cupola and door right usually on these buildings, and he came out, and we ID'd him and put him down right away. And that was the first dude I killed.
Let's get a little more descriptive.
Yeah. So we go in. He comes out, he's running, and he's hopping over a building, and it's from me to the door, so like, I don't know, 10 feet away, and just put the laser on him, and I forgot about this. The boys, I yell, freeze.
Oh my gosh.
I forgot about this, dude. Oh my God, the guys gave me so much shit. They said, we heard you from fucking miles away. Like the blocking forces heard you. I said, freeze. And that dude kept running and put him down. And I hopped over.
Where'd you hit him?
I hit him in the back he was kind of running sideways, so like rib cage, and he went down, a couple shots at him. And I hop over the buildings were set up where the roofs were there was like a wall around, maybe a 4-foot wall around the roofs of these buildings. So you would have to hop over. They were all connected on these blocks, but I hopped over, and he was still like alive. He was still, and he was on his back, and I walked up to him and looked him in the eyes and got on top of him, like to make sure, he was dead. He wasn't at that point, and just sat there and watched him, like, physically. This is the second moment in my life where I had a spiritual event happen. I watched his spirit leave his body. Like, I watched his eyes go gray. I watched that last breath. Like, I physically watched whatever was inside of him, spirit, whatever you believe in. I believe there's a spirit in us, and I watched that leave his soul, like his soul leave his body.
What did it look like?
It was more the eyes. So his eyes just instantaneously lost life. Like, and I've seen it with some animals before because I hunt quite a bit, but I've never seen it like this. And it was just him breathing out. I'm on top of him, and I could tell it was about to happen. The breathing started getting complicated. And I just sat there and I watched him in his eyes for like 20 seconds, and it just went gray, like that, gray. And heard that last gasp. And to me, like there was nothing that left. Like I didn't see anything that left, but
It's like an intuition.
felt it. Yeah, it was an intuition, and I could feel the energy shift. I mean, he was done.
Why did you stop and look him in the eyes? Do you know?
I don't.
Was it curiosity of what it would look like to see another man die?
It could be that. Yeah, I don't know, man. Like, I was standing over top of him, and that I've seen him. Like, I see him. I've seen that guy. And, I mean, he was a horrible dude. He killed 30 plus Marines. He had a bomb shop. They were killing dudes left and right. So he needed to go, right? Like, he needed to leave this earth.
Mm-hmm.
But I still see him. I see him when I do plant medicine, and sometimes I see him when I dream. Like, when I'm in dreams, I see that. And I've actually had a conversation with that dude. Like, never said a word in my dream, but we had, like, a conversation. So it doesn't haunt me.
Like telepathic type conversation?
Yeah. Like, I'll be dreaming, and he'll come to me, and we'll talk about, like, without saying a word, we'll talk about what happened. Like, we'll talk about, like, how he had gone to the darkness and was doing dark things. We'll talk about, like, that his spirit left his body, and he's now in a holding pattern, if you will, until he's repopulated into this earth. Like, I lost my faith until that very moment. And then I was like, holy shit, when I saw his spirit leave, when I felt his spirit leave, for me, I was just like, okay, I believe. Like, there's something here. I believe. Like, I lost it for...
So hold on. So this is a profound moment.
Oh, yeah.
So at the exact same moment you killed a man, your first man, is the same moment that you reconnected with your relationship with God. I've never heard that one before.
Yeah.
How often do you see him?
Maybe half a dozen times a year.
Hey everybody, I'm Shawn Ryan. Click here to subscribe to the Shawn Ryan Show YouTube channel for the hottest and most compelling interviews that you will not see anywhere else. I've also made a playlist of all the previous SRS episodes so they're easy to find. You can find that right here.